The Custom House. Inside this impressive building were the offices of the United States Customs Service collectors, inspectors, and other officials. It was here that the ship's captains and owners paid duties on imported goods and conducted other business. Before the passage of the Federal Income Tax Act of 1913, customs duties on ships' cargoes provided most of the money to run the federal government. Between 1789 and 1840, duties collected here earned the Treasury more than $20 million, a substantial amount in those days. Salem's Customs House was one of the several in Massachusetts. It was built in 1819 near the end of the height of Salem's East Indies trade. However, international cargoes continued to enter the port until the early 20th century, and so the Customs Service operated in this building for more than a century. Today, the Customs House has historically furnished rooms and exhibits. By presidential appointment, author Nathaniel Hawthorne served as the Port of Salem surveyor from 1846 to 1849. It was here that Hawthorne conceived his famous novel, The Scarlet Letter. It was the subject of my meditations for many an hour while pacing to and fro across my room or traversing with hundredfold repetition the long extent from the front door of the Custom House to the side entrance and back again. Hey guys, this is Janice with Mom's Second Time Around, and I am here at the Salem Custom House, and we are about to go inside and take a look. I am out exploring the National Historic Site, Salem Maritime Museum, and I'll show you where we just came from. You can watch the replay of us exploring the Salem Friendship. And now we're about to go into the Custom House. Hi, thanks for joining. With my grandbaby. So I'm Janice, Mom's second time around. I'm a grandmother, and I'm taking my baby out to learn, my grandbaby out to learn history and to explore Salem, Massachusetts, the witch city. So we are about to arrive at the Custom House now. So this is a National Historic Site operated by the National Park Service, and Find Your Park is an initiative by First Lady Michelle Obama to promote people to get out and to look for local, let's see what's here, to look for local history nearby. And so there are parks and cities, historic sites and cities. Hi, how are you?
Fine.
That's good.
Are we working on a term project or term paper or something?
No, this is actually live streaming to the world.
Oh.
Yeah. So, what can you
Okay.
tell us a little
You're in
bit?
the Salem Custom House. This is where tariffs were collected.
Okay.
Customs duties. When a ship like Friendship returned, the captain got his papers together before he did anything else, went into that room and started the process to see how much tariff, how much customs duties he owed the United States. Customs was the primary source of federal revenue basically until we adopted the income tax in 1914. The building was built in 1819, just in time for Salem to begin declining as a seaport. It's very shallow out there. At low tide, average water depth in Salem Harbor is 10 feet.
Oh, wow.
Ships just didn't fit.
Yeah.
So the business moved elsewhere. The building's big claim to fame, Nathaniel Hawthorne worked in that room. That is his desk. He was here from 1846 to 1849.
Okay.
The first chapter of the Scarlet Letter, the Custom House sketch. This is it. This is the building.
Oh, from the Scarlet Letter. Awesome.
And it made the Custom House in 1936 when it was transferred to the National Park Service.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. So this is Nathaniel Hawthorne's desk that you're seeing, and he wrote The Scarlet Letter, and he also wrote The House of the Seven Gables, which is located not far from here as well. So this is his actual desk. So it says Nathaniel Hawthorne used this desk while he was working for the Customs Service in Salem from 1846 to 1849. And so see what else is over here. Some other artifacts here. A hydrometer used to measure the alcoholic content of liquids such as whiskey and rum was an important tool used by the surveyor. Hawthorne's Digest, Nathaniel Hawthorne's Digest of Revenue Laws, provided instructions for the operation of the port. Oh, this is Nathaniel Hawthorne's walking stick. That's so cool. And existing records indicate these pens and ink were used by Nathaniel Hawthorne while he was a surveyor in Salem. And Hawthorne indicated that goods arriving in the port had been inspected and duties assessed by marking the containers with a stencil. No longer seeking or caring that my name should be blazoned abroad on title pages, I smiled to think that it had now another kind of vogue. The custom house marker imprinted it with a stencil and black paint on pepper bags and bags of annatto and cigar boxes and bales of all kinds of dutiful merchants in testimony that these commodities had paid the impost and gone regularly through the office. And then this was Nathaniel Hawthorne, who wrote The Scarlet Letter and The House of the Seven Gables. It says, Nathaniel Hawthorne was born in Salem on July 4th, 1804, pursued two careers, one as a writer, the other as a federal employee. Hawthorne's government experience began at the Boston Custom House, where he was a measurer from 1839 to 1841. 5 years later, he was appointed surveyor of the Point of Salem. His final tour from 1853 until 1858 was as a United States consul in Liverpool, England. Government employment depended upon friendships and influence, the spoils system. In 1849, when the Democrats lost the election to the Whigs, Hawthorne was forced out of his job as surveyor. So that's Nathaniel Hawthorne. Now we're going to go across to where ship's captains would come in and pay the collectors. So this is the area where they would come and see the collectors. So if you're joining and you are on your cell phone and you can, you're on Periscope, tap and give you some hearts. I appreciate it. So we're actually inside the customs house and we're looking at the area where they worked. And then these are some documents from the Friendship Salem as well. United States of America, license of vessel under 20 tons. There's more. Friendship Salem. Friendship Salem. Israel Williams, master from Batavia. Okay, so that's the captain of the ship there. And then more logs. So this ship brought back, it went to China, Indonesia, and Russia. So now, and go to the back. Oh, there's another room here. I'm sorry. I'll go to this room here. U.S. Customs seal, dipsticks and gauges, hydrometer, locks and keys, the standard yard. Okay, so this is a yardstick. Amazing, that is a yardstick. And this is what they use to weigh things with. Wow. That is some scale. Let me get back so you guys can see the scale. There you go. say what this is we're looking at. Salem's customs duty, 7% of the federal budget. U.S. customs duties, 97% of the federal budget. Wow. That is incredible to think that the tax on the goods being brought in funded the government. So it says, after the American Revolution, the government had $52 million in foreign and domestic debt. The 13 states, acting almost independent nations, were collecting duties, but little of this went to the federal treasury. After the Customs Service was formed, the collection of duties was consolidated. By 1835, the national debt was erased and the United States had become an international power. Unlike today, when government is funded mostly by income tax, the young government was primarily funded by customs duties. In 1807, during Salem's glory years, the federal budget totaled $16,398,000. Customs duties accounted for $15,846,000 of that, and Salem supplied $1,152,000, or 7.27% of the customs revenue. Customs provided the government with its major source of income for nearly 125 years. Virtually every aspect of the government, from the purchase of the Louisiana Territory to the construction of the military academies, was funded by U.S. Customs. Okay, so now we are going to head out around at the next stop. Public Stores, 1819, the Salem Maritime National Historic Site. So molasses, wine, looking glasses, window blinds. Oh, okay. So here, let me do this then. So I just stamped my passport book. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to show you guys the front cover of it if I can find it. There's the front cover. So this is a passport for the National Park Service, and as you go around visiting, I got one for Saugus Ironworks, and this one is for the Salem Maritime, and so there are 4 different stamps. I have to go to another location to get the other 2. And my signal was too poor in here, so Cypress Green, Hyssop, Black, Janice, Indian Textiles, Suchong, those were things that they got from India. Upon the coast, the War of 1812, a nation forged by war. Before the U.S. established the Navy, the Treasury Department Revenue Cutter Service watched its shores. During the War of 1812, the service did inshore patrol duty, freeing the nation's ships for blue water cruises. Several of the service's cutter crews distinguished themselves in combat during the war. In fact, the honoring of capturing the first ship fell to the cutter Thomas Jefferson in June of 1812. The next year, the cutter Vigilante captured a famous British privateer off Rhode Island, while the cutter Eagle fought the last ounce of powder against 2 larger British warships before escaping overland. A century after its display of dedication and courage in the War of 1812, this revenue cutter service was converted into the U.S. Coast Guard, which continues its proud tradition. Your gallant and desperate attempt exuded such admiration. Letter from Lieutenant John Creary, Royal Navy, to Captain Travis, U.S. Revenue Cutter Service. Above, on October 11, 1814, the cutter Eagle fell in with 2 more heavily armed British warships. Eagle's captain beached the cutter and had guns dragged up a nearby bluff. Eagle's men held the army at bay for 2 days until they ran out of ammunition. On the night of 12 June 1813, armed boats from the frigate HMS Narcissus attacked the cutter Surveyor while she lay at the anchor near Yorktown, Virginia. Outnumbered nearly 3-1, the cutter's crew was overwhelmed after 10 minutes of desperate fighting. Okay, so Salem's trade routes included from Columbia R in Canada, San Francisco Bay, Lima, Valparaiso, Cape Horn, Buenos Aires, Rio de Janeiro, French Guiana, the West Indies, to Salem. So the triangle route, as you can see there, goes from Salem to Lisbon to the West Indies. That's the triangle route. Okay, and so they also sailed to Sierra Leone, Cape Verde, Canary Islands, St. Helena, Cape Town, the Cape of Good Hope, Madagascar, Zanzibar, Mochi. Oh wow, this place they went everywhere. Archangel, Stockholm, London, Dublin, Bordeaux, Lisbon, Barcelona, Naples, Constantinople. Wow, they went to Azores, they went to Istanbul, Muscat, Bombay, Calcutta, Madras, Sumatra, Ile-de-France, Rangoon, Canton, Manila, Nagasca, Batavia, and to the South Pacific Islands, Sydney and New Zealand. Once a ship's cargo had passed through customs, it could go to any number of destinations. Goods could be auctioned to the highest bidder or sent to a retail shop such as the West India Goods Store, once owned by Prince Henry. Goods could also be sold to another merchant as shown in the documents below. Pepper, owned by Henry Prince, that arrived in Salem on April 15, 1822 on board the brig Anne, was destined for a Boston merchant. On April 22nd, with the pepper now loaded on the sloop, William Prince was refunded his drawback, the duties he had deposited at the customs house for the pepper. So that's the pepper store, West India Goods Store. Okay, so we need to visit the pepper store. That's why the pepper store is important. Okay. The abstract of goods and wares and merchants gave customs officials a detailed accounting of the ships entering Salem from foreign ports. Its list described description of the goods they carried, the value of the goods, and the duties assessed during the last 3 months of 1822. The total amount of duties collected in Salem during this period can be seen at the lower right hand of this document. Oh, wow. That is quite a substantial amount. Where did the trade goods come from? A knot on nutmeg and rum molasses came from the West Indies. Hides cassia came from, looks like Rio de Janeiro or somewhere in Brazil. Salt wine, quills, iron duck, apricots, raisins, coffee, cloves, gum copal, ivory, tallow, indigo, cotton, firecrackers, lacquerware, silk, tea, pepper, tin, manila hemp. Very interesting. Okay. And then window blinds, looking glasses, cypress gunpowder, black Janice, alabaster ornaments, wine, souchong, molasses. Okay.